Hey everyone, I am Nathaniel Rumpeljans from Nintendo Prime. We are hosting our Q&A early today because it is Star Wars Day. Now I know some of you guys have already seen the latest Star Wars movie. You saw it last night, maybe had some early premieres earlier this week. I have not seen it. I am going to a 10:15 p.m. show tonight. But because of the timing of it, and because my best friend Eric, who's on the Nintendo Prime podcast, already bought tickets for us to go, I will not be hosting a Q&A tonight, so I decided to do the Q&A during the day, just to get it out of the way and taken care of. There's a lot of stuff we could talk about, but first I'm going to get to the Q&A questions that we have submitted by our patrons. If you would like to guarantee we spend a good amount of time talking about your question for the Q&A, become a $1 Patreon backer. You do that, you submit for $1, you gain access to all of our Patreon exclusive posts, or most of them besides the podcast. And yeah, you get to do things like guarantee your Q&A question gets answered. So let's just get right into it. The first question comes from Brandon Wheeler. He says, in response to your video on the Nintendo 2DS/3DS game library that I released on December 14th, what RPG game do you recommend to play? I'm not picky. It can be turn-based, action-adventure, puzzle, etc. So, there's a lot of games. The ones I personally recommend are obviously ones that I've played. Bravely Default, excellent game. Fire Emblem Awakening, I cannot speak the praise of that enough. Pretty much any of the Pokemon games, there are like Pokemon Sun and Moon, obviously recently Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, Omega Ruby, Omega Sapphire, etc. All the Pokemon games that have come on 3DS are awesome, and those are RPGs, believe it or not. If you have a new Nintendo 3DS, you could pick up Xenoblade Chronicles. Yes, the Xenoblade Chronicles that released on Wii is available exclusively on new Nintendo 3DSs. Probably works with the new Nintendo 2DS XL as well, since it's using the same slightly boosted hardware. But there's a lot of other excellent RPGs on the platform as well. Shin Megami Tensei 4 is another excellent one. If you would like more action-oriented games, you have games like Monster Hunter 4 on the platform, or Double Cross. There's Fantasy Life is another great one. Dragon Quest 8, Mario and Luigi Dream Team even. That's another RPG. Etrian Odyssey 4, Monster Hunter Generations, Rune Factory 4, Tales of the Abyss, Kingdom Hearts 3D, Shin Megami Tensei 4. I think the Apocalypse game is also on there. Ever Oasis, that's another excellent game. There's just so many awesome, Yokai Watch games. If you're just looking for a personal recommendation, I'm going to say Fire Emblem Awakening because it's one of my favorite RPGs on the entire platform. Tactical RPG. I like tactical RPGs. Or if you want to get a more recent Fire Emblem game, obviously Fire Emblem Echoes, Shadows of Valentia. But there's a ton of games, Story of Seasons, Final Fantasy Explorers. I could go on and on and on about all the RPGs. It's actually really interesting because the 3DS kind of became like the home of RPGs, I swear, with how many RPGs are on there. Code of Princess, just the Legend of Legacy. Man, there's just so many good RPGs on 3DS that you really can't go wrong. If you're an RPG fan, you should own a Nintendo 3DS because there are just so many good to really great RPGs on there. So yeah, I think I kind of went through the list of all the games that I at least have some sort of experience with. If I haven't played myself, I've at least seen other people play it and know that I'm even interested in those games still to this day. So those are the kind of RPGs that I would suggest people pick up for the Nintendo 3DS if you're looking for good RPGs. So I hope that answered your question, Brandon Wheeler. Thank you for submitting your question through Patreon. Mark Greenberg on our Patreon asks, what are my top 10 games of 2017? Now, he didn't quantify that as top 10 Switch games in 2017. So I'm going to extrapolate this into all games, although a majority of them are probably going to be on Switch. Breath of the Wild, obviously my number one. Super Mario Odyssey's on there. I'm going to actually keep track here just to make sure I don't say enough. Let me just rattle through the Switch games I know for sure are on there. Super Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild. Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle is going to be on there. Splatoon 2. ARMS. So that's 5 for sure Nintendo games. Total Warhammer 2. Total War Warhammer 2 is technically what it's called. Love that game. I'm gonna throw Horizon on there for best games of this year. 3 more. Let's see here. 3 more. There's been a lot of good games. I guess Nier Automata. Automata, or however you pronounce that. It's 8. Oh, let's see. And these are in no particular order. Besides Breath of the Wild being like the number 1, all the rest of these are in no particular order. I'm not saying which ones are better. Even the ones that take me a bit to think about, it's just because I'm trying to rattle through the games that I've experienced this year, or at least have a lot of interest in. I'm just gonna actually glance here, see if there's any I'm forgetting that I'm interested in, that maybe I haven't even played. You know what? Let me see. I was at 8. Let's throw. This is tough. You know what? I'm gonna go because I'm gonna wait for any hype on Wolfenstein 2 till it comes to Switch next year. I'm gonna throw Resident Evil 7 on there just because it's a return to what I feel Resident Evil games should be, and what I want them to be. And I almost want to throw Cuphead in there, but I'm just unsure. Sonic Mania and Cuphead are kind of in the same level for me. Same with Neo and Uncharted Lost Legacy and For Honor. Like, all of those games kind of like mashed together for me in terms of my interest in them. So for the 10th game I'm going to throw on there of my top 10 games of 2017, I'm going to go with Assassin's Creed Origins. Haven't played it yet. I do plan to pick it up after the holidays calm down. But man, I love Assassin's Creed games, and this appears to be one of the best Assassin's Creed games that are out there, and it's taking place during a time period that I love. I used to play I used to do a lot of history research into the ancient Egyptian empire and stuff like that. Plus, I used to love old games that took place during that era, like Pharaoh and stuff like that. So yeah. I'm going to throw Assassin's Creed Origins in that hat as well. But again, only Breath of the Wild is for sure number 1. I'm not placing the rest in any sort of particular order because I would have to spend probably like the next 2 hours just debating with myself, jotting down notes on why I love a certain game and maybe what some of the drawbacks are, so I can decide which games I truly enjoy over the others. But yeah, that's my top 10. I hope that answered your question. If you were hoping for 5 more Nintendo games, I'm sorry you didn't specify, so I'm going to leave it at that, even if you're in live chat now and you're like, oh my gosh, I meant just Nintendo games. Too bad. All right. Brandon Wheeler, I'm actually glad you caught this stream live. Awesome. I think it's one of the first time one of our Patreon backers actually caught their question being answered live. So this is now the opportunity for you guys to get your questions in through the live chat. If not, I might just decide to randomly talk about something. But I am going to throw our stream here at Twitter. I just realized I forgot to tweet out our Q&A. So I am just going to... your burning questions answered here. I'm just going to make sure we get our proper social media promotions out there. I really should hire someone. Well, I can't afford to pay anyone, so I guess I can't hire anyone. But I really should get someone to handle these social media posts for me. Just during the live streams. I can handle it outside of live streams, but I do need to work on scheduling too. It is something I need. All right. This is the last social media post I have to get out. We only really post on Facebook and Twitter, so it doesn't take that long. All right. Moose Bosch asks in the chat, which game do I hate? Hate's a strong term. There's games that I'm incredibly frustrated with. Games that did not... that disappointed me. Like, I had these high expectations, or maybe just high hopes, and the games just didn't meet my hopes or my expectations. Games I hate are... It's tough. Obviously, there are some games out there that just shouldn't exist. I've seen some games about, like, rape and bigotry those kind of things just shouldn't even exist. But beyond like games that are just crossing the barrier there that I feel like needs to exist, a decent moral barrier, which I know South Park kind of plays around with, but doesn't in a joking matter. So I'm okay with all the South Park games. I love South Park, so it doesn't bother me. I think I'm going to go. I mean, game I hate. It's a tough question because I don't think there's a game I hate beyond games like that. So I mean, games I'm disappointed with, sure. Games I'm unhappy with, but hate is a really strong term. I don't think there's a game I actually hate. So I guess I don't hate any games. Let's see here. Next question up. Good. Brandon Wheeler says he's gonna get Shin Megami Tensei, and you love the Persona games. Yeah, if you love Persona, you're gonna love Shin Megami Tensei for sure. So that's definitely what I would suggest directly to you as someone who has expressed interest in the Persona games in the past. All right. Oh, cool. We got a new subscriber. Vincent Rosemary Olympia de Saint Pierre. Cool. Really long name, but thank you for subscribing. So we have Art Bell, and he says, Atari Box delayed, Indiegogo Vaporware enhanced PI. I don't know what's the enhanced PI. Well, first talk about Atari Box, I guess. Let's address that one because I actually know a little bit about Atari Box. Don't support Atari Box. I don't care if they have all the official licensing and they get all the support from the people who currently own the Atari brand. The Atari Box is a non-existent product. There's not even a prototype. They have proven nothing with it, and they're asking people to just blindly support it because it looks cool and is planned, by the way, because a prototype doesn't exist, planned to have real wood. As if that's a selling point because the old Atari had like wood accents and stuff. I think the Atari Box looks cool. I think their plans with it are stupid and completely unrealistic. And if it was just going to release as another one of those Atari classic systems, I think that's fine, I guess. But that's not what they're doing. They're trying to make it kind of like a Ouya / a little bit like a PlayStation 4 using an Xbox 360 style controller. It's really weird what they are doing. And then like the primary controller it comes with is an old school Atari stick, which again is fine if this was a classic system, but the fact they're targeting specs that are higher range to get newer games on it that are going to continually release, but you're using the old school joystick, it's just everything about it reeks as not well thought out, not well planned, and just a cash grab to take advantage of the NES and SNES Classic range by saying, hey, look, we got this Atari thing that kind of looks like an Atari Classic but does more, and we could sell it at a premium price. And it's just not, don't back it. I'm sorry. They need to prove themselves and prove it with a working prototype before anyone should be throwing money at it. Never support someone like that's got a big brand name behind it that doesn't have anything to show for it yet. They just want your support to make their idea possible. Don't do it. It's dumb. Atari Box should not even exist. Punk the Onet says, thoughts on WWE 2K port on Switch? It's bad. We actually just talked about this on a podcast episode that is releasing on Monday, or for $5 backers on Patreon, releasing on Sunday. Yeah, it's bad. It's a bad port. Because we talked about good ports and bad ports. And really, WWE 2K18 was the only example of a truly bad port to Switch that we could come up with. Rhyme was another one we kind of mentioned, but WWE 2K was the worst because it's basically an unplayable mess of a game. That is not that way on other platforms, meaning that it's not a fault of the whole game, it's a fault of the Switch version of the game. Terrible port. Nobody buy WWE 2K18 on Switch. It is a waste of money, at least until they release several, and it's going to take several major patches. And I don't know if we're ever going to get those major patches because the game's probably not selling well because it's a broken hot mess. So, J Rosario 0126 says, Battlefront 2 you hate. I don't hate Battlefront 2. I didn't like that they were doing the loot boxes and the paid loot boxes, but now like paid loot boxes were never there at launch and they might not be coming back. There's still a loot box system in there, but now they got to rework everything. I think the game was poorly thought out in terms of consumer reception, but ultimately, like the actual gameplay of the game's pretty good. The visuals are pretty good. It feels like you're in the world of Star Wars when you play it. It's got issues, but it's not. I don't hate it. So, Alicio Blanco says, "What do you think Switch games?" I don't know what that even means. What do you think Switch games? What do I think Switch games? I can't even like drag a question out of that. Moosebot says, if you could choose between a Switch bundle with Mario Odyssey with just the normal console, what would you choose? I don't see an option there. What's the option there? Moose, you're asking me to choose if I could choose between a Switch bundle with Mario Odyssey. Oh, do you mean a Switch bundle with Mario Odyssey or just the normal console? I think that's what you meant. Oh man, a Switch bundle or a Mario console. Oh, I'm sorry, a Switch bundle with Mario Odyssey or just the normal console. If we're talking about the current Mario Odyssey bundle, I would choose the normal Switch console. Because you can go buy Mario Odyssey separate you can buy Mario Odyssey and a case for the $380 they want for that Mario Odyssey bundle. So there's no benefit to the bundle other than the box art. The box art, if you care about the box art on the thing for collector's, value, I understand that. But if you're just looking to buy a Switch, you don't care about the collector's value of the box art. Then buy a normal Switch, buy Mario Odyssey separate, which, by the way, the Mario Odyssey included with the bundle is a digital version. So if you're someone who doesn't want a digital version and you'd rather have a physical version, then you really shouldn't buy that bundle. But you can buy the system separate, decide if you want digital or physical for the same price, and then get the case for $20 that you want, not one that they give you. Just my 2 cents. That's what I would do. Do we have any other questions until we get some more questions here? Do I think I'm sorry, MNRKR13 says, do I think Overwatch will come to Switch? Sure, why not? It's a game as a service. It's continually running, happening all the time. I don't think that Switch is beyond capabilities to run the game. They just have to decide they want to do it and put in the time. I actually have a contact at Blizzard, but I haven't heard anything from that contact about any games coming to Switch yet. So as far as I'm aware, there's no games planned to come to Switch. But if I hear anything, and I'm allowed to share it, I will let you guys know. But right now, I'm not aware of any Blizzard games coming to Switch. That includes Overwatch, but I think Overwatch should come to Switch. Speaking of all of that, Koppel 26 wants me to flex my arms on Switch. It's a really weird request. I mean, you're not even asking a question. I guess I can flex my arms. They're not that great. See? I mean, you can't even see any muscle definition right now. I mean, it's hard. Once you get past my little fat, like right there's the muscle. That's hard. Hopefully, after I'm starting, I got my gym membership this week. The first time I'm working out is tomorrow. Hopefully you'll start to see a little bit more definition, more so that I have to lose some of this fat you're seeing here. And once that gets down and starts tightening up, you'll start to be able to notice the definition in that muscle. Not that I care about the definition in my muscle, but I do care about losing some weight and stuff like that, and getting back in shape that I'm happy with, especially when I'm playing with my kids. So there's that. Alicio Blanco. That's a lot different question than what you originally asked. It says, what I mean is, do you like Xenoblade Chronicles 2? Yes. Absolutely like Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Moosebotch says, do you think Cappy is going to stay in the Mario games if it's another Odyssey game? If there's a Mario Odyssey 2, yes. If it's another, a completely different Mario game like Mario Sunshine, or like just say they make a Mario Universe game or something, just something that's not Odyssey, then no. Cappy is something that I think is going to stay exclusive to the Odyssey games. It's those games gimmicks. Or I guess that game's gimmick, because there's only one of them right now. I don't think it's going to be like the Fire you know, the fire flower that's in multiple games like that. Oh, good luck with your fitness journey. Thanks, Mr. Phalange. As I said, I'm not looking to like beef up or anything. I'm just getting back in shape, shedding some pounds. I'm not on a diet yet. I will be starting a diet. I think nothing extreme. I found that I don't do well if I go to the extreme route of the diets, but I'm going to start cutting back portion sizes. Like if I go to McDonald's, instead of getting like a quarter pounder meal, I'll just get like a cheeseburger and a small fry. That kind of thing. Like instead of cutting out all the food I eat, just have a smaller portion of the food I like. Because I need to be realistic. And if I'm working out while doing that, I can afford to have a little bit more calories anyways because I'm working out. But obviously I want to start my weight loss. And once I get to a weight that I'm happy with, then it's going to be about maintaining that weight. So then I could probably eat a little more if I'm willing to work out a little harder, et cetera, et cetera. I can kind of find that healthy balance in my life for where I'm happy to be at. Because I'm not happy where I'm at right now. I'm not like ultra depressed because I'm overweight. But I would like to get back under the 200 mark. I'm 5'5". I should have never got over 200. Once I'm down below 200 and I start creeping back to 190, 180, even though my ideal weight's like 40 pounds less than that, I don't care about my ideal weight. I'm really happy at 180. That was where I was. Obviously, I was really happy when I was like had a six-pack back in high school and was weighing 145 and was feeling great. I don't really want to necessarily work that hard because it was really, really hard even as a high schooler to maintain that six-pack and maintain my fitness level. Then I don't plan to get back to that. But if I can get back to 180 and under, I will be pleased. That is my goal. That would represent a 70-pound weight loss at this point. Yes, I have ballooned to 250, and that makes me upset. So I am going to try to work really, really hard to get myself down. Plus, I'm getting married next year, probably on June 23rd. We haven't set the date with our with the priest or with the reception yet, so it could change. But either way, I'm getting married next year. So I want to kind of... I won't look my best, but I would like to be trimmer for that, especially if we do happen to go on a honeymoon, even though it's not looking like I'll be able to afford a cruise or the Bahamas. Like I want to take my fiance on. I do want to be trimmer. So at least, I mean, I don't know. I'll be more attractive, I guess, to her. I guess that's one benefit for her. Let me see. Art Bell says, will you at least consider removing the wig in 2018? Just kidding. This isn't a wig. This is real hair. I gotta cut it though. I do need a haircut. I might go get a haircut today. We'll see. I did. What are the YouTube kids say this day? I got my YouTube money today. I got my payment from 2 months ago. So the YouTube money we made 2 months ago. Just so people know how I get YouTube revenue is the money we made 2 months ago. I get it now. So like the money we're making right now in December on YouTube, I don't get until February. It's a net 60 payment cycle, and because we have a partner in BBTV, they take a 20% cut of that. So like it might say, oh man, you made like $800, but I didn't really make 800 because like 200 of that's gone to BBTV. But anyways, yeah, thanks for all the great videos. One of my favorite subs of 2017. Knowledge and enthusiasm equals Nintendo Prime. Thanks, Art Bell, man. I try. Duo Master wants to know, am I into puzzles? Like puzzles that you put the little pieces together and you build them out and it's like a picture. No, not so much. I did some of those when I was a kid. I also tried some Star Wars 3D puzzles back in the day. I had a Death Star 3D puzzle. Never finished it. Never really was my cup of tea. Not that I can't do puzzles. It's just not that. Now, if you're talking about like solving a puzzle, like if someone gives me a brain teaser or if someone gives me like try to solve the Rubik's Cube or stuff like that, yes, I absolutely enjoy those kind of puzzles. CJ Broncos 25 wants to know, oh, hey, you wouldn't happen to be a fan of that running back from the Denver Broncos, would you? Would you? He says Mario and Rabbids or Skyrim. I would have to say, if you have other platforms to play Skyrim on, then get Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle because you'll be able to get Skyrim really cheap on those platforms. But if you don't and Switch is your only way to game, Skyrim you're going to get more playtime out of, Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, though, is a completely different game. So do you like strategy, tactical style, basically tactical strategy games versus an in-depth 100-hour plus RPG experience? They're both great on Switch. Obviously, Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle exclusive, so if you can buy Skyrim elsewhere, and then get Mario plus Kingdom Battle on Switch, because you can get Skyrim for like $10 sometimes, like on Steam and stuff like that. But again, if Switch is your only platform that you can game on, or the only one you care to game on, it's really just up to which game you choose, which one you like. I mean, I think Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle is one of the best games on Switch, but Skyrim is an all-time great. So, you know, it's really up to what situation you're in and what kind of games you like. I want them both. I don't actually own Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle anymore. I beat it, I reviewed it, blah, 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 and I sold it. I regret selling it, but I needed the money at the time. Don't have enough money to buy Skyrim, but I plan to pick up Skyrim. So if you're looking for like a recommendation based on what I buy, I'm going to own both of them. So, like of the Jigsaw variety, yeah, not a fan of Jigsaw puzzles. Portion control is a great way to control weight. Yeah. That's the big thing. I'm not gonna go. I've tried like shake diets and stuff, and I'll probably eventually. There is a shake diet I enjoy, but I only enjoy it for like a meal a day. So I might just start swapping out my breakfast for the shake diet. But we'll see. It's gonna come down to money too, because the shake diet can be kind of pricey. But otherwise, the rest of my lunch, my dinner, my snacks, I just need to cut back on portion sizes. And what helps with that, as an example, I'll give you an example. I actually subconsciously cut down on portion sizes today. This was my lunch, and technically I didn't even finish it off because this is mostly just straight carbs at the end, and there's like no meat left. These are our chicken tacos. I normally eat like 5 of these for a meal. Today I just ate 2. And that's what I mean by cutting back portion sizes. I used a smaller plate, so I can only fit 2 of them on here comfortably. And I was like, you know what? That's going to have to be good enough. Was I still hungry at the end? Of course, because I'm used to eating larger meals. But pace myself. Let myself have more snacks, more often. Have 2 to 3 snacks a day that are smaller, 100 to 200 calorie snacks. And then smaller portion sizes for my meals. And that's really going to help me cut back. And I still get to eat what I love. I loved chicken tacos, homemade chicken tacos. I love them. But cut back on how much I'm eating. Aries4321 says, am I going to see Star Wars tonight? I saw it yesterday in the premiere, and it was really good. Yes. 10:15 p.m. Central Time. Eric from the Nintendo Prime podcast has already bought me and himself a ticket. He bought it on his lunch break at work, just to ensure, because usually around here we can buy tickets for a big movie like Star Wars up until like 3 hours before the start time, and then boom, it sells out. So we made sure we had tickets, and we're gonna probably go there a little bit early, not too early, but a little bit early. Maybe we'll bring our Switches with, because he has a Switch as well, and maybe we'll play some games or something. But while we wait, but yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's going to be fun. Maybe I'll part of the vlog I'm doing for December, maybe I'll get some footage of Eric and I like chilling, playing our Switches while we wait for Star Wars. Woo! Woo! Sorry about that. Had a tickle, and it just led to that. But yep, going to see it tonight. And that's why the one person who asked on our... someone asked on our Patreon for us to cover a podcast topic about the Star Wars movie this week. If you're wondering why we did not do it on this podcast, it's because we recorded the podcast last night and neither one of us had seen Star Wars at that point. Let's see here. Dual Master says, also, Nate, I know there's a bunch of Game Fest going on right now for the holidays, but if you want some good gear in Rocket League, they're having a Winter Fest right now. Don't care. I don't ever plan to spend any additional money in Rocket League beyond my initial purchase. Rocket League is not a game. Like Splatoon 2 is a game I'll consistently play every single week. Rocket League isn't. I played it. It's fun. I understand why people enjoy it. I'm never going to get good at it. Don't care. I'm just going to play it randomly like once or twice a month. So it's not worth me investing extra money into. When I still need to get enough hours into it to even feel like I got enough for my initial purchase of the game. I felt like I bought the game based on the hype it had on other platforms, rather than my real interest in it. Because I'm not really that interested in Rocket League, if I'm being honest. But I understand the appeal of it. So I think I just bought it because it's popular. And I don't like doing that. People shouldn't buy things just because they're popular. So yeah, I'm not going to spend any extra money in Rocket League. Alicia Blanco says, what other game do I want to see on Switch? Assassin's Creed Origins. It's not going to come on Switch because it's made with the engine that just doesn't work well with Switch. But I guess a future Assassin's Creed game might be made on Snowdrop. And if that happens, I would like to see it come to Switch. Because Snowdrop does run on Switch. Yeah, talking about the decoders and the open crates. See, I just don't care about the crates in those games. Duo. Let's see. Honestly, I wish they would release new Star Wars every 3 years, not 2. I don't want them to try and milk the franchise too fast and sacrifice quality. They've been releasing a Star Wars movie every year, technically, because they just had Rogue One last year. But they're not making these movies in a year, right? They're spending 2 to 3 years production. Like right now, as this movie's coming out, The Last Jedi, for probably the last 6 months, they've already been working on the next full episode of Star Wars that's going to come out 2 years from now. So they're still spending quite a bit of time on each Star Wars movie. The issue we're obviously going to run into here is one, we learned what some of the initial plan was for these Star Wars movies. So the Star Wars, what was it, Episode 7 that we had 2 years ago, that was supposed to prominently feature, Han Solo. And obviously he died in the movie and blah, blah, blah. I know, spoilers, whatever. It's been 2 years. This movie was supposed to prominently feature Luke Skywalker, and then next movie was supposed to prominently feature Princess Leia. Well, because the actress for Princess Leia died, it's kind of one of those... they could try to pull a Fast and Furious, but they probably won't. So they're probably gonna have to rewrite and rescript and do it. So it's gonna be really interesting to see what happens because you can't really replace that role or that character with a new actor at this point or a new actress. So it'll be very interesting to see how they handle that, since that's what Mark Hamill said anyway, seemed to be the plan of these 3 movies in terms of the prominence of the old characters. That doesn't mean that Luke Skywalker wouldn't be in the next episode, and if he dies in this movie, don't tell me. I don't want to know. But it would be really weird if they just killed off a major character in every movie. That would just be weird to me anyways. I don't think he dies in this movie, but yeah. So I have no problem with the 2-year release schedule as long as the movies are great. Everything I've heard about this movie, it's awesome. It's really, really good. People who expect it to be Empire because the first one was kind of like A New Hope kind of get their expectations blown out of the water, is what I've heard from like some big Star Wars fans. So I don't mind if it's every 2 years as long as it's amazing. And they have an actual plan, and it feels like they have a real plan, and the movies are amazing. So I don't have a problem. And like the Rogue One movie was just all right. But I mean, it's a side story. It was a good side story. It was better than the episodes 1 through 3. So I don't really have a problem with what they're doing because they at least have a clear direction. It's like the Pirates of the Caribbean movies that I have an issue with because after the first one, I don't think they ever planned for there to be another, and now it feels like they're kind of scrambling to make more of them. And I know like the next one is like the last one, or the next one, did it already come out? I don't even remember. Is the last Pirates of the Caribbean movie, and it's probably going to be okay. But yeah, I think it already came out. Anyways, yeah, it's just okay. But I don't think these movies. I think these movies clearly have a plan, and I feel like there's going to be more than just episode 7, 8, and 9. There's going to be a 10, 11, 12. Maybe they even have a light map, out for up to episode 20 for all we know. But I feel like they're going to do like a trilogy of movies, and that's when you're going to see a break. So we're going to see 7, 8, and 9 episodes over a span of 6 years, and then there's going to be like a 4 or 5 year break. And then we're going to see episodes 10, 11, and 12. I feel like that's how they're going to break it up. Just a feeling I have. And they'll fill the rest in with side stories and blah, blah, blah. All right. Let's see here. Drop the soda, man. I've done it before. I know. I could lose 20 pounds like in the next month if I just stop drinking soda. Just cold turkey quit. I know, I've been there. Not gonna happen. I mean, I will cut down my consumption of soda, but as I said, I don't care about getting back to my high school fitness level, and the extreme dieting and the cutting out of the things I enjoy. Not going to happen. So I'm not going to be cutting out soda. Sorry. Let's see here. In the news, when Eric is going to suffer. We're going to talk about it tonight. He was supposed to do it this week, but I just didn't have the stuff yet. I need to get the ghost pepper. That's what I'm missing right now. So once I pick up a ghost pepper, I'll probably pick up a ghost pepper this weekend. I'll stop out at the grocery store, and then I just have to talk to him about when he wants to suffer, and I'll give him a week. So next week, sometime he's got to do it before Christmas. I'll give him that stipulation. He must come on a live stream before Christmas and suffer his betting special punishment. So look forward to that in this next week. Because I need to start putting a time limit on this, or it just starts not to become as relevant. I think he's hoping I just forget about it. I haven't forgotten. I have a note about it up on my wall. I'm not going to forget. Let me see. Sodas are yummy, especially with Cheerios. Mario and Rabbids or Splatoon. Again, personal preferences. I can't tell you. They're both really great, and I own them both. Did I see Fallout coming to Switch? When is Fallout? Was that announced today? I haven't looked at any news yet today. I don't have my kids this morning. They're at my parents'. Oh, there's the leak about Fallout 4. I don't see any actual, legit news on it, though. Yeah, so I don't know what you're talking about. There's no story about Fallout coming to Switch. So, nothing new anyways. What do I think the chances are of Okami HD coming to Switch? They dropped the ball on that. I mean, I don't know. Okami came out on Wii as well as PlayStation 2. So, I mean, it could come to Switch. I don't see why not. It's just kind of the way it is. Jar Jar dies. Vitamix will do wonders. Not happening, guys. I told you, there's no changes to my diet, just portion sizes. So stop trying to give me these measures that I realize are healthier for me. I don't care. Very deep question, Master JL Leinhardt. What does gaming mean to me in my older years? It's interesting because, am I old? I mean, I guess I'm turning 32 in 2018. So, I'm obviously every day I wake up, I am the oldest I've ever been as a gamer. And the same is true for you guys, but when you're younger, you don't think about it like that. I've even recently, I think it was in a live stream or maybe it was a podcast, I kind of capped how long I expect to be gaming for. I put it somewhere around my 50s, somewhere in my 50s. So I figure if I'm going to turn 32, I might only have 18 to 20 years of gaming left. And that doesn't mean that I can't game past my 50s. My grandma games. But I figure I'll probably develop some form of carpal tunnel, some arthritis. Just something will happen where I just not going to be able to game at a level I'm used to. Or my gaming skills will start to degenerate enough to the point where I get kind of frustrated with myself not being as good as I once was. And that'll just make me just not really want to do it anymore. Because I take gaming a little too seriously. And I know that. So because I take gaming a little too seriously, even though I always say it's all about the fun, it's not about how good you are, being even worse than I already am would bother me. And make me not really want to play games much anymore. Just a thought process I feel like is going to go through my mind 20 years from now. Because today when I imagine some of the limitations that could exist in my 50s and my 60s, I'm like, do I really want to game with that? And my answer right now is no, I don't want to game dealing with that stuff. But, when I think about gaming now, Red Wembley, welcome to the stream. So when I think about what gaming means to me now, it's a very interesting aspect because for as long as I can remember, which, I mean, well, not as long as I can remember, but since I was 12 years old, I've always been doing something extra with video games, right? I wasn't just a gamer. I ran a gaming-related something. At the time, it was a website called Zelda Domain, which eventually then evolved into Absolute Zelda, and then I joined Zelda Informer, and then I launched Metroid Wiki, and then I launched Gamnesia, and now Nintendo Prime. And for as long as I can remember, that's just what I've done. Gaming was not just a hobby of mine or a passion of mine. It was kind of sort of something more. And now that I'm older, I have kids, 3 kids now to be specific. Over the past 6 years, I have 3 kids. There will be no more. And I get to the point now where I don't necessarily have the time to game like I used to. Switch has helped out immensely with me finding more time to game than I have in the past couple of years. But it's just a very weird feeling knowing that you're older and my life can no longer revolve around video games as it felt like it once did. There used to be days that I would wake up, I'd play video games, this is as an adult, by the way. I'm not talking about when I was a kid and like you just have no care in the world. When I was an adult, or ever since I was 19, because I guess, yeah, 19, because I turned 19 right after I graduated high school. My mornings consisted of waking up, playing some video games, going to school, and then eventually going to work when I dropped out of school, and then playing video games when I get home until like midnight, 2 a.m. Waking up at 6 or 7, playing some more video games, going back to work, coming home, making some food, eating some. It was a cycle, and eventually I started mixing in going out for drinks because I wanted to start having a social life. Didn't really have a lot of friends. Eric was off in college, like an hour and a half away, so I wasn't gonna go see him all the time. So I'd start going out to bars and meeting people, which was actually one of the greatest decisions I've probably ever made because my fiance that I'm marrying next year, I technically met her one night when I went out to a bar. I didn't meet her inside the bar. I met her outside the bar, but I only met her because I went out that night. So I do not regret my bar life days at all because it ultimately led to that and my children and the life I have, and I couldn't be more thankful. I'm not saying that you guys should go out and start drinking 3 nights a week like I was. I was drinking every Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday at night. But I'm not saying you guys should go do that. But if you do everything responsibly and you're having a good time and you're doing I was doing karaoke and dancing and blah, blah. I wasn't getting plastered those 3 nights. I would drink. Some nights I would drink too much. But I was pretty healthy about controlling it. It could be a healthy part of your adult life and a healthy part of your social life. So I would do the video games, and then when I did the drinking, I would sometimes drink until 1 a.m., come home, game until 4 a.m. And yeah, that's just kind of where things would be leading in my life. Now that I'm older, I hardly ever drink now. Might be drinking for New Year's this year. I'm not sure yet. And obviously, thank you so much, Red Remley, for your $2 super chat. I will get to your question after I finish this one. I'm at a point in my life now where the crossroads exist where I have to consider what's best for my family and what's best for me. Video games are always going to be a part of my life. I feel like even if I reach my 50s and I quit video games, I'm still going to be thinking about them, right? I'm still going to be following the news and reading forums and caring about it, watching YouTube videos or whatever video platform is the main platform 20 years from now. But it's just an interesting feeling because I'm in a lot different place than I was back then. I'm a YouTuber now. In 2017, I became a YouTuber. At the ripe old age of 30 and then 31, I became a YouTuber. And as a YouTuber, it's given me more and more reasons to play video games. I do voiceover over gameplay. I do live streams now. I am gaming more this year than I have probably gamed since I was a teenager. Or since my World of Warcraft addiction days. When I would work full-time and put in full-time work into World of Warcraft all week. But it's different for me. I have a lot more perspective on games. I play a greater variety of games. Some people have noticed that my opinions and my knowledge of games and of Switch and everything have grown as this year has gone on and as I made more videos. And that's because I am kind of forcing myself at times to diversify my experiences with video games. I'm no longer locked into just playing World of Warcraft and Zelda, or just locked into playing Age of Empires and, you know, Civilization that year, or just Madden and NBA 2K18, you know, for like 6 months at a time. I'm in any given week, I am playing a bigger variety of video games than probably at any other point in my life. Just this week, leading up to today on Friday, I played Breath of the Wild, the DLC. I played Splatoon 2. I played Mario Odyssey. I played, let me see, I'm trying to think here. I have played Snipper Clips. Yes, believe it or not, OG Snipper Clips, not like the new version that's come out or is coming out. I played that. I have played Mario Kart 7 with my daughter on her new 2DS. I have played a little bit of World of Warcraft. I have played, I'm just trying to think, NBA 2K18. I think like there's one other game I missed. Anyways, you get the point. I played like 8 games this week. That's crazy to me. I used to never play that amount of games. I would pick like one game and I would just play it till I'm done, and then I move on to the next game. And now I'm playing all these games like in the same week. It's a very different way of gaming. And if you're wondering why I didn't mention Xenoblade 2, I'm on a little bit of a break with that game until I finish the Breath of the Wild DLC. So there are some games I put off because I want to invest longer play sessions in with them. But yeah, it's really interesting to me. And I already know in the back of my mind, like, I have it kind of an itch to go back and play some Sonic Mania. So I'm probably going to play some Sonic Mania next week. And that'll get mixed in with Splatoon 2, I'm sure, and some other games. It's just crazy how much I'm diversifying my gaming as I get older. But I'm also playing for shorter sessions, right? Like, even my live streams, I play for an hour and a half to 2 hours. I used to play for like 6 hours straight. I don't do that anymore. So there's that as well. That's changed as I gotten older. A lot of things have changed. But I'd say overall I'm more satisfied as a gamer today than I was when I used to play those long sessions and didn't play as much. I'm enjoying the diversity I forced myself to have, and now I just desire. So yeah. I mean, I guess I don't know if that helps explain anything. I'm definitely a lot different today than then. I'm still... My life is now revolves around gaming job-wise. That's obviously a big difference for me at age 31 here. Because I wasn't always doing, like, covering video games and talking about video games for a living, and now I am. And it's a big change. It affects your gaming life in good ways and bad ways. There's some days I wish I didn't have to do this job, that I don't have to live stream. There's days I don't want to make videos. There's days I don't want to live stream. There's weeks where I just don't want to be on YouTube at all. I don't want to make a social media post. I don't want to tweet. I don't know if that's depression setting in or if it's just I overworked myself, so now I don't want to do it. But something always happens that draws me back in and keeps me moving forward. And this is a job I enjoy, but it's very much a job. Whenever people tell me, man, it must be nice to have a job you love, it is really nice to have a job I love. But that doesn't mean it's not a job, and it doesn't mean it's not work, and it doesn't mean that there's not days that I'd just rather not show up. But it's a job, and it supports my family, and I have to show up. People are like, why are you getting a video out on the holidays? Shouldn't you be doing? I'm like, I am with my family, but I pre-made that video ahead of time, put in extra work one day because I need to get a video out, because that's how I pay my bills. If I don't get that video out, if I don't get the social media stuff out, if I don't get those posts up on Zelda Informer's Facebook page, I can't feed my family. So, like, it's not a question of, oh, you should take a break more often. I can't. This is a job that I don't make enough money from yet that I can't take a break. There's no such thing as vacation for me. So, that wears on you. It becomes a grind. Any YouTuber out there that has been dedicated to this knows about the YouTube grind, the daily YouTube grind. It's a lot of work. Some days I love it. Some days I hate it. Some days I wish I had a completely different job. But in all of it, I'm reminded of how thankful I am that I get to do something I'm passionate about for a living. So, yeah. Red Wembley, I'll finally now get to your Super Chat question. You said Hat in Time. Will it come to Switch in 2018? I obviously have no idea. I think Hat in Time fits well on Switch. I think it's the kind of game that, the kind of indie game that would perform well on Switch. I've been interested in the Hat in Time ever since it was announced because of its similarities to certain Nintendo games. Whether or not they want to bring it to Switch, I have no idea. I hope they do. I haven't heard much. I know some people have been asking them, but they haven't really said anything. I hope it comes out in 2018. I personally want it out next year, but let's see here. Let me go back up. But yeah, very nice question. Red and JL, who asked earlier about my life. Now I'm just trying to find where I left off here. Dual message says, so you remember the article I posted on the news site, which you mean NintendoPrime.net, about the scrapped hookshot? Yep, I do. If they implemented that in future DLC, how would I like it to work? I don't know. I mean, it's a game-breaking thing, right? It makes it so climbing's irrelevant. There's no way they can implement it that's going to make it not really be irrelevant. So I feel like it would just be something fun. It's kind of like the motorcycle, right? There's no point to it. It doesn't enhance your gameplay in any way. It could break the gameplay in some ways. It's just post-game stuff that people just can enjoy. It's just a tool, right? It's a tool people can use to zip around Hyrule and do crazy things with. So why not just toss it in there as a post-game item you get for 100%ing all DLC in the entire game? If you can hit 100% on all of that, Nintendo, why not just toss out a bone and give us the double hook shots and let us be Spider-Man? Don't let us do it during the normal through of a game, but once people are basically done with the game, be like, here you go. Here's a Spider-Man double hook shot thing. Go have fun. Why not? Why not just let us romp all through Hyrule like we want for no rhyme or reason, just because it's fun to do? Let's see here. Oh, and would I prefer it to be a rune ability or an item you use out of your sword slot? Probably a rune ability, but I don't want it to work like a rune. I want it to work like an item, but not be necessarily something that breaks per se. I guess it could break. If they may, I don't know. I think it should be like the cycle. You have limited use time for it, but while you have it, you can use it a whole bunch. If that makes sense. So I like it to be more like how the motorcycle works. Red Wembley, hey, at least you, he says, I give you a hard time. You do. You give me a hard time. And you call me out more than I should. Okay. Your words, not mine. But you work hard. Thanks. I appreciate that you could tell I work hard at least. Because I do. I do work very hard at what we do here at Nintendo Prime. And I keep saying we. Nintendo Prime is basically me in my basement of my house. But I do have people who help me along the way. So, if you have a way to stream, I can stream Steam games. That's not, do I have a way? You just have to have a computer capable. How much would it take for you to play Doki Doki Blind? Are we talking about blind, like I have to wear a blindfold? Or are we just talking about literally have no idea what that game is, and I just go into it not knowing, and I just play it? If we're talking about just going into it, not knowing what I'm doing, and I just play it, probably... It would probably take $100 super chat to make me do that. If we're talking about me doing it blindfolded, I'm just not interested. So no amount of money, maybe $1,000. Do something crazy, something way unrealistic that'll never happen. Heck, the $100 is probably unrealistic, but because it's a stream that would not perform well for me. So $100 would probably make me do it. 2K18, any good on Switch? NBA 2K18 is good on Switch. WWE 2K18 is not. Go another deep question. You guys with these deep questions. Mr. Mark R's Play says, have I ever found that making a hobby into your job kind of ruins the hobby? It's weird. I've said, I was just talking about earlier how since I was 12, I always had the hobby and the enjoyment of playing games, and that's something else, such as using my passion to create Zelda Domain and Zelda Informer, Metroid Wiki, Amnesia, now Nintendo Prime. It's hard when gaming goes from just being about having a great time to being about what do I need to do for work. Like if I make a video about the MPD report, The NPD report mentioned Super Mario Odyssey. What if I really just don't want to play Super Mario Odyssey, but I know that it's the best game for me to play to go along with the NPD report? I'm probably going to play Super Mario Odyssey even though I don't want to. And that's those things that happen where sometimes I play a game not because I really, really want to, but because I have to. We're not at $300 on Patreon anymore, but if we get back to it before January and I have to review a game in January, it's very possible that our patrons choose a game that I don't want to play. And if they choose a game I don't want to play, it doesn't matter. They paid for me to do that review, so I'm going to do an honest review, and I'm going to force myself to spend the amount of time I feel like needs to be spent with a game to review it. And even if it's a game I enjoy, like Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, when I reviewed that, when I got to hour 63, 64, did I really want to keep playing the game? Probably not, because I kind of experienced everything I felt like I wanted to experience with the game, and I was ready to move on as a gamer. But as a reviewer, I know I should experience more to make sure that I cover every base I possibly can with that game. Doesn't mean I need to 100% it, but I need to at least know what happens in post-game, how it works, blah, blah, blah. And that's something I wouldn't do on my own as a gamer. Gamers, basically, I beat the main gist of a game, maybe beat the main gist of the DLC for that game, and then I'm done. I don't 100% games very often. I don't dive into every little aspect. Like, if I get Grand Theft Auto 5, I'm never touching the multiplayer. And when you review a game, I'd have to touch the multiplayer because I'd have to at least know how it works, how it functions, and have some experience with it. And as I said, there's obviously games where I have to, not that I have to play the game, but I need footage of the game. And part of it's because I don't have enough storage, so I can't keep, like any gameplay footage you have seen on my channel, I have no backups for that gameplay footage. There is 0 local backups of that footage anywhere in my possession. I don't have enough storage to keep all of my gameplay footage. Because of that, I have to keep playing games to get more gameplay footage. See, that's one thing that would make it easier. If I had enough storage to keep all the gameplay I record, if I need to throw in certain gameplay footage with a certain news piece or a certain editorial piece I'm doing, like the one I did about the recent one that really blew up about Switch and about being a Nintendo fan. There's a lot of game footage in there, and I had to go record all that. Versus already having gameplay footage I could draw from to splice together and make that a little easier on myself. And then there's on top of that fact, like, do I really want to go look up the latest news today, or do I just want to play a game? Doesn't matter. It's my job. I have to go look up and see if there's any interesting news to talk about. What I can tell you is I don't feel like my hobby's ever been ruined. In fact, I feel more knowledgeable about my hobby than I would be if I didn't have it as a job. But it's not for everyone. Let me put it that way. There's a very real point you hit in doing YouTube or being a journalist or doing these various things that take it beyond just a hobby that can ruin gaming for people. There are people that get stuck in a rut and they just continue to make this content on YouTube without enjoying it anymore. And I never want to hit the point that I don't enjoy what I'm making. There's going to be certain videos I'm not having much fun making, but that doesn't mean that I don't enjoy making videos on the whole about Nintendo. So yeah, it hasn't happened for me yet. It could happen someday, but I've been doing this since I was 12, kind of. So I don't feel like it's ever going to happen for me. I've been through the low points. So it can hurt. It can hurt you as a gamer, your will to game. But I've worked through that stuff in the past and gotten past it and came back. So, yeah, I don't know. It's different for everyone. I definitely don't suggest all of you people should become YouTubers. All of you guys should go start your own websites or start your Instagram profiles or whatever. You're adding a lot of additional pressure to yourself as a gamer that you don't need to put yourself through, because it can start to affect you. Like, it might be all fun and games for that first month or two, but it can really affect you if you try to turn it into a job and start looking at money and revenue. That's kind of a big thing. Like, I have to start thinking about everything I do at the channel in terms of not just my passion and my love, but how much money can I make? Like, should I really make this one video that's only going to get 200 views? Should I do this live stream, this Q&A live stream right now instead of making a video when I'm going to make, I made $2 from this live stream off a super chat. I could have made $10 off a video that I could have made instead. my time should be better spent making a video than doing this live stream. And this is stuff you have to think about, and that stuff could just grate on you and ruin even your passion for the channel. I do these live streams because it's what I want to do, right? I don't always want to make videos, but I know the videos are more productive for my personal life. No. I try not to think about it. That it helps just not thinking about it. Have I heard about the Adventure Time game coming on Switch, and what's your opinion on it? I haven't. If it is coming to Switch, great. Adventure Time's cool. Yeah. Cool. Well, we've hit exactly, well, a little bit over 1 hour and 15, 16, 17, 18. The timer keeps going up. So we're probably going to call the Q&A right there. Thank you guys for your questions. It's been fun. As I just said, I probably should have been making a video instead of doing this Q&A, but I'm going to go make that video now. I need to go catch up on the news. And if not any of that, maybe the video I'm going to make is on the MPD. I don't know yet. I've been holding off making that video for a specific reason I mentioned in the podcast. But, all right, cool. Well, you know what? I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Thanks for joining our Q&A.